Welcome to the C4 Canucks Hockey Podcast.
Every week, they talk about the Vancouver Canucks with a fair amount of nonsense thrown in.
Sure, they're never the first with the news, nor the best connected, and definitely more off the rails than on.
But they've been talking puck the longest, and that counts for something, right?
So strap in for the longest running, best mediocre Canucks Hockey Podcast.
It's C4 with Chris and Anna.
Hi, it's Chris. Do you remember me?
The long lost Chris.
Still not as long lost as Adam.
No. Yeah, that is a deep cut. That is deep C4 lore, if you remember Adam.
I think we have a listener or two that would remember Adam. Like, if you think about it, though, like Clay, he officially departed the show. Matt, he officially departed the show. Adam, technically speaking, our intro should probably still reference him.
Yeah.
He hasn't officially departed.
No. And to be clear, he still exists on the earth, just he has not departed the mortal coil. Just
He showed up for one of our like Christmas sort of get-together live streams. That was 2 or 3 years ago.
But he sort of haunts us. Anyway.
I am back. Yeah, and I thank you for running a solo show a couple weeks ago in my absence. We had obviously had to adjust the schedule, so it's been a hot minute or two since I was last here. But to bring everyone up to speed, the long and short of it, my father went through some health issues that had him into a couple different hospitals, and he had symptoms that led the first set of doctors in a particular direction, only to discover that direction was the wrong one. Everything was in the opposite direction. He had something that was so rare that only 4 of 1,000 people will even suffer from it. Of the 4 in 1,000 who will suffer from it, the vast majority of those are symptom-free. It is just sort of a thing you have and your body can...
like Thatcher Demko.
Yeah, it could deal with it. And then in my dad's situation, he's one of those rare individuals where his body wasn't able to deal with the issue. And in those cases, it's a 50-50 split as to whether or not they go in to perform surgery or they allow your body to try to deal with it. But he was in such sort of rough shape that they decided surgery was probably the best path. He saw 4 different surgeons. They had to like collaborate because he is, such a unicorn. One of the surgeons was quite ecstatic that he had come into the hospital that particular day because you don't see this type of thing.
Yeah, it's not the most comforting thing. Surgeons are kind of nerds and they love cutting people up. So,
but
not always the most sensitive.
He's good. Surgery took place and it was like night and day. My dad was no longer in pain. He was doing much better. He had abdominal surgery, so there is obviously a period of time as to which it'll take to recover. And the vast number of tests that he is subjected to over the course of the essentially week or so that he was, was not fun times, surfaced other things that he wasn't aware of, we weren't aware of, that can now sort of be taken care of. But none of those were problems. None of those were like, could be game over status. Those were all problems that were deal with once we figured out what's going on. And even what he had wasn't necessarily game over status, but it created symptoms that sure made it that way. So it was stressful. So I appreciate you coming in, helping out, running a solo show. And yeah, I'm back. And in fact, my mom and dad just left. Had them over for dinner, barbecued some burgers. Marnie made some homemade potato salad. It was good time.
That sounds divine.
It was, Anna. I would have invited you, but it would have been weird maybe. Or maybe not. I met your mom.
Yeah, I feel like I'd be fine. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just far.
It is. I mean, you almost need your passport to come visit me.
Yeah, I basically do. And yeah, I've left the city too much lately. Well, I went to Salt Spring last weekend, so.
Yeah, I saw pictures. It looked like a fun time.
It was a fun time. It was all my sort of friends that I've known the longest in Canada, so I've known them for like 15 years, and we're still going on trips, still having fun. So yeah.
Now, when you were on Salt Springs, so there's one picture of you. Was it oceanside or lakeside? Because Salt Springs big enough that you could have lakeside.
Yeah, so we did both.
Okay, because you were in the water, and I couldn't tell which version of the water you were in.
We did both. We were lucky that our host on the island was able to give us some tips. We went in the freezing cold sea, but it was a beautiful beach, and then we went in a very warm lake. Yeah, very enjoyable.
Didn't invite me.
I know, you weren't allowed on the girls' trip. I'm sorry.
Man, that's so unfair. So
I
unfair.
know.
And you keep going to Vancouver Canadians games, and you don't take me.
It's true. You could have met my dad if you came to the Canadians game with me last night. My dad and my stepmom were in town, or they've actually just left today. They have gone to an island, and I'm going to join them in a few days. But yeah, my dad's been in town, and I am 3 for 3 on Canadians games this summer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They won again?
They won again. And so the first 2 games I saw, they won in extras. And this game they won essentially in the top of the ninth. So,
Cool.
Exciting game.
Yeah, you could probably guess at this point that when you have a Vancouver Canucks podcast that's recording in the summer and there isn't a whole lot going on in the realm of the Vancouver Canucks, that we have to vamp a bit. But we are going to have a modified or somewhat short rewind. The Vancouver Canucks did sign a player.
Deals happened.
Right, that happened, and we're talking a little bit about what's going on potentially in the crease, and then stuff that we haven't really touched on, but we probably should have, like the new CBA, which is kind of like the old CBA with a different pair of pants on. We're going to talk about it, and I don't know other things, but yeah, this is going to be a shorter episode. We're sort of in that weird part where nothing's happening.
It's a slow down.
Yeah, August has always been a rough month, and in the before times, this wasn't an issue because we never recorded in August. We, generally speaking, recorded a show after Free Agent Frenzy, and then we came back start of September. So yeah, anywho, let's dive into Rewind. So the Vancouver Canucks did sign a player by the name of Vitali Kravtsov. When I saw the signing, I was like, "Who is this guy?"
And then I did, I was like, had no recollection. And then I was like, oh yeah, like we got him in the Lockwood trade. But I kind of thought his rights had lapsed.
Which they hadn't.
Which they hadn't. The Canucks did qualify him previously, which I had no memory of. But yeah.
And he'd been playing in the KHL as well. And this is generally you got a guy who's in the KHL, and it's, instead of saying future considerations, you put a name to it.
Yeah, it's true. And, it's been tried at the NHL level, the Kravtsov experiment, and it didn't seem to work out that well. But, since then, he has been dominating in Russia. So, who knows?
1 year deal. I mean, in all things considered, he's being paid Jag dollars. If he comes across and plays like a Jag, well, you can't be upset about Jags earning Jag money. And it's a 2-way contract, so he doesn't even necessarily have to be a member of the big club.
Yeah.
With what the Vancouver Canucks have in regards to cap space, this type of deal doesn't bother me whatsoever. But if it does work out well, it's kind of like, well, too bad you only signed him for 1.
Right. And yeah, the incentive is there on him to perform, given his previous showing in the NHL, and that 1 year deal. But yeah, it's league minimum. It's just a free swing. Like, Canucks, I'm sure, were ready to forget about him in the K, but he had a really good year. He led his team in scoring, top 10 in the league. Yeah, like he could, there's no reason to say that will definitely translate back into NHL. He certainly looked better than he did last time around. So,
well, and I think it would be fair to suggest that he could potentially be if we get a Dakota Johnson or Joshua, Dakota Joshua. Not Johnson. Joshua.
That's someone
Small
else.
player. Different Dakota, I know.
Now I'm adding Dakota Joshua in 50 Shades of Grey.
Man, now, that might work.
It's got to be better than the original.
Dakota Joshua type player. Now, I don't think it's fair to say, oh, we don't need Dakota Joshua. We've got Vitali Kravtsov.
No.
But if he were to get close to that, I'm okay again. Like, I look at this. You got a strong skating winger, big.
Yeah. Big,
like,
can score, looks defensively better than he did in the NHL. Once again, don't know if it'll translate, but why not?
Yeah. Doesn't solve all the problems the Vancouver Canucks continue to face.
No, we await the center that we were promised once they moved out to Dakota Johnson / Joshua's salary.
Yeah. I'm never going to live that one down.
No, I'm definitely thinking of a new episode title with that in mind.
But the summer's still hot. Like, who knows? There's deals to be had.
Yes,
or not.
It remains August, so it is not time to freak out yet.
The other area of development is in the crease. So we already knew that the Vancouver Canucks had decided that Thatcher Demko is the goaltender of the future, as he is the goaltender of the now. Kevin Lankinen was the goaltender of the maybe. And we've talked about this in past episodes. Like, hey, a healthy Thatcher Demko is a great goaltender to have.
Mm-hmm.
We have doubts on the healthy Thatcher Demko, but signs are pointing and sort of things suggest that Thatcher Demko has had a pretty good offseason so far and will be coming into training camp ready to go. Unlike last season, when he was only a couple of weeks away for the better part of a season.
Yeah, and it's been a while since he's had an entirely healthy off-season, healthy at the end of the season. And
it helps to not be in the playoffs, right?
Yeah, healthy and long off-season. So yeah, he's had time to prepare and nothing weird was happening like COVID or the bubble or the North Division or whatever else. Or injuries. Or playoffs. So yeah, it does seem like this is the best preparation for a season he's had in a while.
Now, does healthy Demko coming into camp have to compete? Or do you think healthy Demko in camp is enough to get that first game to kick off the regular season?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's I think we're not at the stage of earning his job back. I think the plan has been to 1A, 1B it, but they are just more and more mindful, I think, of limiting Demko's games.
Now, do you think if they do the 1A, 1B, if they truly run that route, do you think it's going to be a 60-40 split?
Yeah,
or
and
do you think
a 60-40B is like?
You can get 50
not...
games.
Yeah, I was told there was no maths.
No, I mean, and I just pulled that number out of my butt. It could be wrong. But 50 games seems about right.
I
84 game season.
Yeah, I don't want any more than a 50 game. That's absolute limit for me on Thatcher Demko. I think it should be more. Yeah,
So you would be happy
45.
with the 42-42?
No,
so a 55-45 type split.
Yes, let's go with that. With a 45-35, I don't know, games. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my, yeah. I just think if we're going north of 50, that's when Thatcher breaks.
Well.
But it's not just the number of games, right? It's
it's the fact that the Vancouver Canucks defense is non-existent, or has been historically non-existent past Quinn Hughes.
Yeah.
And Thatcher Demko is required to stand on his head, blindfolded, with his hands tied behind his back, doing God knows what to the papa muscle.
Yeah, exactly. That muscle. Yeah. I do think, yeah, and I did listen this morning to Kevin Dean, the new defense coach, who, like, I think it's very difficult in a 20-minute interview to communicate your process and everything. He seems like a good guy, has a lot of
Quinn
experience.
Hughes, 60 minutes. Gets water breaks.
But literally, it was like, I think that you should put an attacking-minded defenseman with a defensive-minded defenseman. And it's like, oh, that's mind-blowing. Thanks, Kevin Dean.
So you got this is awesome. Where does Quinn Hughes fit into that? Are they saying they're going to run Quinn on the blue line on his own?
Yeah, Quinn with Quinn.
Excuse me.
But yes, I think the idea was, yes, Tyler Myers is not an attacking defenseman, despite the fact that he is
I want Tyler to be a forward.
Yeah.
Put him on the fourth line.
I wouldn't mind that. But I'd prefer that to him trying to be a forward whilst on the blue line.
Mm.
Yeah. And then, Junior being more the defensive-minded than Hronek, etc. But yeah, it was hardly, elite level. And plus, if he had any secrets, he's not going to be giving them out on.
What are you talking about? Host Radio?
Insider podcast.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, and we should say congratulations.
Super Host Radio.
Yeah, exactly. Congratulations to Chris Faber, who has just become a dad. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Friend of the show.
Congratulations, Chris.
Yeah. Little baby Emmett was born within the last few days. So, yeah.
This world is going to change.
Yeah. It's a huge deal.
It is. Oh, anywho. That's up with the Vancouver Canucks. Beyond that, everything that's going to break is going to happen over the next couple of weeks while we don't record. So
yeah, for sure.
Stay tuned to that. You and I, though, we're going to take a short break. You're listening to the Steve 4 Canucks Hockey Podcast, brought to you by Anna and Chris.
Take hitting out of the game. You can't hit anymore, so don't do it.
The unsportsmanlike conduct, I want to get an explanation on that.
No kidding.
Because how do you get suspended for unsportsmanlike conduct?
Plus interference. There's no interference there. He had the puck.
Now, Madison never ever did that before. Now, why did he do it? Because he was mad.
Well, your early favorite for the Calder Trophy, that's for sure. Elias Pettersson, you might even say your early favorite for the Hart Trophy.
Just to get back to your question, Elias is going to play plenty. He's going to get a lot of power play time. And yeah, I'm concerned about our offense. We lost 200-point players, and we've got to find a way to score.
It was around the Stanley Cup final towards the NHL entry draft when I think the bulk of the negotiating took place. Correct me if I'm wrong. But then leading up to free agent frenzy, the league and the PA announced an agreement to a quote-unquote new CBA. Now, I use the term loosely because the league and the PA had signed some memorandums of understanding that had extended an existing CBA and adjusted it slightly. This is technically a new agreement, though its framework is built on much of what was already established previously.
Though I will say it does seem to have benefited from genuine labor relations experience on the part of the PA, which they haven't had for a hot minute.
Well, okay, they've had a type of labor relations experience in so much as someone who's been in labor relations forever and a day, but not necessarily in the background of labor relations education.
Yeah.
And, anyhow.
But yeah, shout out Marty Walsh, I guess is what we're saying. Someone that actually does want to advocate for player.
So Cole's notes, and this is just me reading from Anna's rundown because it's been a while since it came out, and I only remembered a few things. The league is boosting the floor, so the league minimum for players is going up as a result. Actually, who is the San Jose Sharks that's at the bottom now? Because the Coyotes.
Are no longer the Coyotes.
Yeah, and I can't. Yeah. I don't think the Mammoth or whatever the heck they'll be called because there's a court case.
But aren't the Mammoth
hockey there
suing someone rather than the other way around?
Okay, off the rails, but still hockey related. Okay, there is a brand called Mammoth Hockey the Utah Mammoth are the hockey team that has just come to be. The people at Mammoth Hockey spoke to the Utah Mammoth and said, dirty pool, and I believe had planned or had filed against the Utah Mammoth. The Utah Mammoth are like, you are horrible people. We're going to sue you instead. So
that's a like classic move when you're in the wrong to counter sue someone.
So what's going to come out of this? I'm going to have to imagine some form of settlement that will involve a lot of money. I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't speak to the veracity of claims either direction. But what it comes down to is the Mammoth Hockey brand is saying the Utah Mammoth are infringing on their brand space and could create the potential for confusion. If someone hears Mammoth Hockey, they think Utah Mammoth.
Yeah.
I don't feel that's a stretch. Right? Yeah. That's the thing.
Like,
I don't feel that that's a stretch.
Yeti Cup thing. We do see a lot of the time.
Okay. Every time a Stanley Cup video showed up on like my social media, it just like, that's not, I know it's Stanley and that's a cup, but that's not the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
But like, you see it all the time on like, Canucks players wearing t-shirts that say Canucks hockey. Like, it's a very common way to like talk about the team. So it doesn't seem like a huge stretch for me at all. Yeah. And I like the name Utah Mammoth. Not as much as Yeti, but
yeah, who knows what'll come of that. But yeah, league minimum, so that means as well the floor going up. The preseason's going to be shorter, which
on paper it's
really
good.
It's an issue with.
Yeah, it's 4 games instead of like 100. But the fact that they're adding on 2 games to the regular season seems silly to me.
So my thoughts are that in reducing the preseason and in also shortening training count, you are suggesting to the players that they have a longer off season, which they kind of do. If this was the old way, that would be a problem. But now players are expected to stay in tip-top shape throughout the off season. I mean, most of them are playing hockey. They've been working out. They're like, their preseason started. It's just not formally with the team. So I don't think that changes a whole lot. The contract situation in regards to the lengths, I believe gone is the bonus year if you signed with the original team, is it?
Yeah, that's true. Contract length is reduced, which I think is a good thing. They were getting silly. The 10-year contracts was a little ridiculous. And some of them dated super badly.
Yeah.
But in general, it seemed kind of ridiculous. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, playoffs have a salary cap now, so I don't know how the Vegas Golden Knights, the Florida Panthers, or the Tampa Bay Lightning continue to function in the way they are. We had always dreamed that the Vancouver Canucks would try to take advantage of such a situation, but heaven forbid they do that. And what I need to point out, the Vancouver Canucks didn't have to abuse something that was perfectly legal for the league to decide it needed to change.
And it's funny to me that, like, people were saying that, we were talking a couple episodes ago about Edmonton being in trouble for potentially, quote unquote, like LTIR abuse. And it's like Vegas have gone away with this for years, so has Tampa, and yet it's just like
player plays 0 games in the regular season, shows up for the playoffs. A-okay,
funny.
We talked about the 2 additional games, so the season is now an 84-game season instead of the previous 82-game season. Those 2 extra games, I don't know the math on how it breaks down to, like, it's divisional play. Like, we're getting 2 additional divisional games, I believe. But I don't know how the math breaks. E-bugs are gone, so the teams will be able to carry a 3rd goaltender who just kicks back and watches from above.
Like, I get it.
Has their gear in a bag somewhere.
but it's also less fun.
Well, you're going to have less fun. We have to think this is going to be the role of the journeyman AHL goaltender.
Yeah, I mean, it
who
would be a Richard Bachman.
is getting paid a
It was-
league minimum or whatever to exist.
Yeah, what an interesting job. I mean, that could be
Actually,
a whole new level of storytelling.
Will they be
in a way.
paid the league minimum, or will they be paid a
Different, like a
E-Bugs?
consultant salary?
Yeah,
But
like
I mean,
E-Bugs didn't get paid in.
speaking as an HR person, you can't pay someone as a consultant and then treat them like an employee. That's not how it works. So if they're treating them like an employee, they should pay them like one.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's my opinion.
I just know E-Bugs were gone, and the third goaltender will get to sit from above and enjoy food and what have you. They don't even have to dress up in a suit because dress codes are gone.
Yeah,
I think they need to wear clothes. That's about the only ask.
I believe so. I mean, because again, decency laws do come into play. So the league exists in, the real world. I know lots of people will like this move because suits aren't that exciting. I get that. I like the suits, but I also understand the point of view of them being a bit dull. The problem is, hockey players have terrible taste in lots of things, including clothes. This isn't the NBA. This isn't even the NFL. We're not going to get all these interesting looks. I don't think. Maybe we'll get a couple. I think we're just going to get, like crappy casual clothes, and maybe some people will just stick to suits because they can't think of anything else.
I think we're going to see a lot of suits. It'll be the younger players that'll start to introduce style. But
I mean, looking forward to what PD puts out, and maybe there's a few other players that will put out something interesting. But yeah, that isn't exactly in hockey players' usual way. So that's why I just think the suits were at least elevated a look.
Yeah.
If you're going to be boring, at least be smart looking.
Yeah, me, I don't care what they wear before a game.
I get that.
I could give two poops.
Oh, is that your knee muscle?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, they can wear whatever the heck they wear. I don't.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah. I'm just hoping it brings about an interesting change, but I doubt it.
Well, okay, so I'll use soccer as an example. FIFA, the very progressive organization known to have thoughts on what one wears on a pitch. If you wear a shirt underneath your jersey, and at any point in time you were to lift your jersey, in the way it works is if you lift your jersey up over top of your head or off, you're cautioned, given a yellow card.
Yeah.
That's been like this since was it Brandy Chastain in the Women's World Cup that scores a PK, takes her shirt off, wearing a sports bra. We got to stop that. Mm-hmm.
Shocked America.
Yeah. Anyhow, the FIFA took it a step further. If you are wearing anything underneath, like that shows a religious slogan, a political slogan, any type of, even a brand, that's a yellow card. So you don't have to get your jersey off. Just that type of stuff is an issue. I could totally see the NHL not realizing that you've told the players they no longer have a dress code. And I think there are going to be some players who may wish to use the opportunity to show up at the rink as a means to support causes. I'd like to think progressive causes.
Wouldn't we?
But hockey, I'm genuinely intrigued as to how the NHL is going to deal with that.
I hadn't even thought of that. I mean, they panicked so much over 7 players refusing to wear the Pride jersey that they just banned all warm-up jerseys. So who knows? I mean, OTR, but the way FIFA and UEFA kind of applies their apolitical or political stance, we have seen over the last few years has been extremely inconsistent. See Ukraine versus Gaza, for example. But I don't expect the NHL to deal with that situation if it comes up at all well.
Well, I don't think the NHL has thought that far ahead.
I mean, I didn't think of it, and obviously I'm smarter than anyone in the NHL. So
You are. Yeah. Anywho, we'll see. But yeah, here we are. Pretty much end of a show. Nice and short. Many apologies it's not longer than that, but there really hasn't been a whole lot of hockey stuff going on. And as a result, we got together to record because I hadn't been here since like April. And yeah, there's just not much going on.
Like us saying that just will prompt Canucks finally into action, and they will sign someone within days of this episode coming out.
Sidney Crosby will be traded to Vancouver, and you won't be able to hear about it for 2 weeks. But if you've reached this point of the show and you want to connect with us, Anna and I are on social media. She is at A403. I'm at Lightforce, and I mean, there's some different variations depending on the social media platform as to which you're going to connect with. That said, I had someone reach out to me through X.
Which you are.
The only time I log in is to essentially publish the episode stuff for us. So if I go 2 weeks without responding to you on X, that's why I don't. The fact I have an account is only because it allows me to then, push out stuff for C4. I am much easier found on Blue Sky and Threads. As far as the podcast is concerned, though, we are on Twitter or X. We're at the C4 Podcast. We're on Threads at the Real C4 Podcast, and we're on Blue Sky at c4podcast.com. See how all inconsistent stuff because social media is like that. But the easiest way to find everything is going to c4podcast.com. That goes to our website, has our back catalog, has our social links, has all sorts of links to things that you'll ever need to keep track of. And the website is brought to you by our new host, Transistor.fm, who have served us well so far. I'm kind of glad we're out on our own again, where it's just you, me, and a company that is actually part Canadian too. So that's kind of nice.
I like that.
Yep. If you also would like to support the show, as some do, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/C4podcast. Buy me a coffee, otherwise known as
Buy Me a Pint.
And you can throw a few bucks our way if you provide an individual donation. Anna and I will use it to buy a pint or 2 or 3 or how much ever you were to provide us pint-wise when we get together. We usually get together once in the summer. It's been a while.
It's been like a month or so since we went to a Whitecaps game together, but yes, pint forthcoming once I find my passport so I can get out to Surrey.
Exactly. And if you want to take it a step further and support us on a recurring basis, either monthly or annually, you can do that as well. I think monthly it would be like a recurring $5 a month. Annually, it's $50 for the entire year. And if you support us on a recurring basis, you get access to C4 Off the Rails. C4 OTR is quite literally all the OTR stuff that we will kind of talk about in the main show, but full time in the C4 OTR episodes, none of which have been published this summer. They've all been recorded. I know, it's me. I've got a lot going on in different ways, and then I had a lot going on. And
it's just a fun surprise for people when they come out.
All of a sudden, there's an hour and a half of OTR. They'll come out. I don't know as to when I'll get all of the back episodes out because I am going on vacation for the first time in a while, so that'll be happening in a few days.
Yeah.
But yeah, C4 OTR, fun stuff. You and I are going to go record that momentarily. But any final words of wisdom for our listeners this week, Anna?
Just a note to self, because it's a lesson that I continue to not learn. If you're about to record a podcast, maybe stop drinking pop right before it, which I don't drink a lot of pop at all. But I think quite a few times this summer already, I have drunk my one pop in the last month. Right before I record. So strategic muting has happened. So you're welcome, everyone. But yeah,
cool.
It's not a good idea.
No. Final words of wisdom from me. If you are feeling pain that you don't normally feel, it is probably best to get that pain checked out instead of sitting in your lounge chair for a day and a half waiting for the end of the pain. Doesn't usually work that way. Just saying. Doesn't necessarily mean the solution comes any sooner, but you're suffering needlessly for a period of time that you didn't need.
Good idea.
Yeah. So we'll be back, I believe, in 2 weeks' time. I think our schedule, because it got sort of shifted prematurely, has now shifted in a way that you and I will miss an episode, but we don't miss an episode now.
I don't know.
Well, whatever. I mean,
but we will be back in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, because we'd record on the 24th. I think you and I are here, right?
Yeah. So I don't think. Yeah. Usually we would be missing one for the long weekend, but I think.
But the long weekend misses because of
And then yes, we'll clarify next episode when we're going back to our weekly schedule.
Yeah, which will probably be in September,
but yeah,
maybe October.
TBC.
Yeah, we don't. We still have to negotiate our own collective agreement.
Yeah.
So, on behalf of Vanna A4 and myself, Chris Ally 4, I'm going to sign off this episode with "We Out."